but I won't, about the wonderful things that we're able to do here at Dorothy Ley Hospice. But I think one of the better ways for you to get a real true sense of that is I'm very honored to introduce to you one of the residents' families that we had with us during 2011, and I also had the great honor of being able to companion during a time of her bereavement. So I'd like to welcome Rosa Fava.
Sorry, I haven't given this too much thought until right now, so I'm quite nervous, so I'm going to ask for you guys to bear with me. I want to tell a little story about our journey with Dorothy Ley Hospice. In March of 2011, I had to make a decision that was tearing me apart. My husband Tony was in the oncology section of the hospital, dying of a brain tumor. He couldn't stay there indefinitely, and the palliative care doctors as well as social workers asked if I would consider transferring him to a hospice. My first reaction was no way, no how. I didn't understand what a hospice was about. For some odd reason, I had this misconception that a hospice was a place where people with no family were left to die. Well, I was adamant that I would not put my husband in a hospice. I was scared, confused, and most of all concerned about the care that Tony would receive during whatever time he had left. Coming to terms with the limited options that we had, I finally agreed to visit the nearby hospice, Dorothy Ley, accompanied by Tony's brother and my sister-in-law. I remember that visit like it was yesterday. Walking through their doors for the first time, you couldn't help but notice the bright, calm, and soothing environment, not to mention the comforting smells of baking coming from the large kitchen. The volunteer that showed us around was friendly, empathetic, and made us feel welcome. And coincidentally enough, her husband had passed away of a brain tumor as well. It was a sign from God. The hospice was spacious, bright, and accommodating to larger families, which we were definitely that kind of family. Dorothy Ley staff of volunteers became our family. They were always there to answer questions, give hugs, lend us shoulders to cry on, and most importantly, take care of Tony's comfort. Within the first few days of moving into the hospice, Tony seemed to have taken a turn for the better. He was a lot more responsive. He was eating non-pureed food. He was given showers. This may seem like a little thing, but it was a big thing. They were able to hoist him in some sort of machine and put him in a wheelchair, take him into a shower, and put him in a wheelchair where we can wheel him outside. All things that we were not able to do at the hospital. These things were all things that were, things were so different in a good way that one day Tony's brother asked me if maybe the name of the hospice wasn't Dorothy Miracle Ley Hospice. What Dorothy Ley provided that made all the difference in the world was support. Besides the nurses, doctors, volunteers, and PSWs, there were also counselors that held sessions where family members could go and talk to other family members going through the same thing. They had support for children going through the loss of a loved one. Children got to take part in art projects where they could create lifetime memories of their loved ones. Using this resource enabled my son to paint his father's hands and then transfer his handprints onto material that he could cherish for life. His dad may not be here physically, but he will forever have his dad's loving hands and helping hands. Tony passed away April 27, 2011, but that wasn't the end of our relationship with Dorothy Ley. As a family, we all came back for a candle lighting ceremony that they had for residents who had passed. It was a beautiful and awe-inspiring memorial for the souls that had passed at the hospice. Several months later, after Tony's death, I came back to the hospice to attend weekly grief group sessions. This was just another great service provided by the hospice, and just one more way of how they demonstrate their commitment to the family left behind. Going back to the hospice was like going back to a loving home. I wasn't scared or nervous. I was emotional and full of love in my heart for this place and all the people that make this place what it is. Dorothy Ley took such good care not only of Tony but of the entire family. It became our home, and I will live the rest of my days knowing that it was the best decision, not only for Tony, but for all of us. A colleague at work actually said it best when he said to me, "Rosa, doctors heal patients, but hospice workers heal families." Thank you, Dorothy Ley, for helping us through this healing journey. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thanks for sharing your story, Rosa.